Hi, my name's Scott Selby. Welcome to Denton Mazda. Today we are going to be taking a look at the 2025 CX50 hybrid in comparison to the 2025 RAV4 hybrid. Both of these are decent trims. This is a premium. This one is an XLE, so pretty apples to apples as far as features go. Starting on the outside of the CX50 here, you'll notice it's a very angular design, kind of a step away from the traditional sleek look you see at Mazda. Both of these vehicles are going to have a 17-inch wheel with a thicker tire on them to help absorb some of those road impacts. Each of these cars is going to have this exterior cladding around the wheel wells, which is really going to help prevent rock chips and things like that down the road. Moving on to the back of this car, you'll notice carrying on with that aggressive design, we do have some sleek taillights on it, a nice dual exhaust out of the back here, and just overall an absolutely gorgeous car. Moving over to the 2025 RAV4 here. So same kind of setup on the back, very angular design, more of an aggressive look than some of the previous generations. And it does retain that same kind of cladding around the wheels here. So if you do decide to take one of these all-wheel drive vehicles off-road, it's going to give you a little bit of extra protection against scratches and dings. Looking at the front of the RAV4 here, very, very aggressive look, very futuristic. A lot of angular design going on here with super sleek headlights and that big Toyota logo right there in the middle. One thing I do like that Mazda does is we do have the floating Mazda logo on the grille. So very premium feel out of both of these vehicles, honestly. So the CX50 is actually one of Mazda's first steps into the hybrid world of vehicles. This is actually our first model that's not a plug-in hybrid. So this is just a standard hybrid. You are getting 38 miles per gallon average with this. So a lot of people are gravitating towards hybrids, especially if you do a lot of traveling, to just try and save on those fuel costs annually. Moving over to the RAV4 here, Toyota's been in the hybrid market for quite some time, so it's a very refined vehicle. They've had some time to work on it. And just like Mazda, they take extra precautions before they hop into a market and do a ton of research and just make sure these vehicles are put together well. But both of them are getting around that 38, 39 mile per gallon average. So excellent fuel range out of both of these cars. One of the big differences between these two cars is the moonroof. So if you take a look in the RAV4 here, you've got your standard moonroof. And in our CX50 over here, this particular unit is going to come equipped with a panoramic moonroof. So a full view of the sky. If you do take this vehicle out camping, it's going to give you a beautiful view of the stars. So starting on the back side of these vehicles, just to give you an idea of what we've got going on inside, you'll notice that the CX50 is a very rectangular storage area. That makes it really easy to pack this vehicle out if you're doing any type of camping, road trips, and be able to really maximize the usage of that space. Looking over here at the RAV4, still a very generous cargo volume. You will notice it does have the wheel humps that protrude a little bit different of a setup than you've got on the CX50, but overall, cargo volume is going to be about the same between both of them, with a little bit more length in the back of the CX50. It does look like both of these vehicles are going to have a spare down below, so in the RAV4 and in the CX50, which is nice because a lot of vehicles nowadays are just giving you an inflation kit. And both of these trims are going to have premium audio, so you are going to have your rear tire carrier mounted subwoofer as well. Bass is non-directional, so keeps it out of the way. It's not taking up space underneath the seats and not really pushing into the cab there. One of the things that I do like about both of these vehicles is the ability to lay down these back seats. So you do have a 60-40 split on the CX50 here, and it looks like you've also got a 60-40 split on the RAV4. So some versatility if you need to haul something extra long and still have passengers in the back. Both of these vehicles are available with a power liftgate. So this one button is on the left, and on the CX50 button is over here on the right, a little more recessed. And you do have a lock button on the back as well. So if you're getting groceries out of the car, somebody takes their keys in, all you've got to do is hit that lock button, close it, locks the whole car for you. Moving on up to the back seat here. So very spacious in the CX50, and that was kind of one of the ideas about this car, was to give you a little bit more room for passengers. Most of our lineup is a little bit more on the compact side, so nice having that couple extra inches of legroom. And you do have charging ports down below as well as vents, and there's a fold-out center armrest in the rear as well. Nice wide angles on all of our doors, so if you ever have anybody with mobility issues, or if you've got to get a car seat loaded up, or a big crate, anything like that. It really makes a world of difference having that extra space. Moving up to the front here, this trim is going to have a full leather interior, so nice perforated leather. This is Mazda's new cross stitch on their interior, so very premium feel. This particular trim does have a power seat. You've got seat memory as well, tilt and telescopic steering wheel, your turn signals on the left, auto rain sensing wipers on the right, and then up front you're going to have dual zone climate control, heated seats, and your commander wheel down below. So very nicely loaded out for the price point. And something that's cool about Mazda is our safety suite comes standard on the entire lineup. So if you're looking at a base model or you're looking at top of the line, you're going to have the exact same safety features. Let's move over here and take a look at the RAV4. Rear seat space is going to be very comparable to the CX50. A little bit less legroom, but not going to be noticeable for most people unless you're on the taller side. You do still have charging ports in the back, and you've also got vents as well. And there is a fold-out center armrest with your cup holders. Notice how the angle on the back doors here only opens up to I think it's about 75 degrees, not quite that full 90. So that little bit of extra space, if you do have somebody that has issues getting in and out of a car, or if you're loading up big boxes for traveling for work, anything, it does make a difference having that extra room to be able to open the door up wider. Moving up to the front here, this particular trim in the RAV4 is going to have cloth seats in it. You do have a power driver seat. You've got your dual zone climate control up front. You've also got your standard headlights. You do have auto headlights. This one does not have auto rain sensing wipers. I believe that is available in a different trim package. So you do have a decent sized display here in both of these vehicles actually, and they're both going to be center mounted on the dash. The idea behind that is that you're not reaching down to make corrections down on the center of the dash here. Your eye line is actually a little bit closer to the road. So when you're driving, all about safety. They want to make sure that your eyes are on the road, your hands are on the wheel, and that you get where you're going in one piece. Looking on the front here, as I mentioned before, you do have that dual zone climate control. So you can have two different temperatures set. You just adjust one of these wheels here. Got to make sure we're on. And we will get that heater cranked up because it is a little chilly outside today. Down below, you do have a couple charging ports as well. So there's a 12 volt up here, and you've also got a USB. And right here is going to be your shifter, as well as your, essentially the commander wheel that you have in the CX50 to be able to control your system up here. Electronic parking brake on both of these cars works just like the old school lever. So up to engage, down to disengage. Put your foot on the brake. So this vehicle does utilize the CVT transmission that is standard in most of Toyota's lineup nowadays. They've had some time to really kind of work out the bugs on it. They're a little bit more engaging when you drive now. I know back in the day, these CVT transmissions were known as a rubber band transmission, right? You'd hit the gas, it'd kind of wind up, take a second to really take off. But Toyota has done a lot to improve the feeling of that. And I've got to say, this is overall a very comfortable ride. Seems to be in control even on these smooth or these bumpy Denton roads. I notice the cabin noise is pretty low in this car as well. The interior of the 2025 CX50 Premium, and if you look around, Premium definitely describes this interior. A little bit more of a simplistic design, which is kind of Mazda's MO. If you look up on the dash here, you're going to see these nice, clean triple gauges. You've got everything laid out right in front of you. That center display is actually pushed back a little bit more towards the road, so you really do have that direct line of sight with the road, even if you do have to take a glance over at your Connect system here. Down below, you've got your commander wheel, and then everything here is going to be used to control that Connect system. You can also use voice command, or you can also pair up with your wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. I did want to go ahead and kick on these heated seats too, because it is a little chilly outside. If you take a look at the steering wheel here too, you'll notice that you have quite a few controls. It's all centered right in front of the driver. So you've got your adaptive cruise on the right side. Left side is going to be primarily for entertainment purposes. These all do come with auto rain sensing wipers as well. So once you set that to auto, if it starts raining, they're going to kick on. They're going to automatically adjust. You don't have to mess with it. So one less thing to worry about when you're driving. Let's go ahead and get this thing out on the road. So go ahead and throw her in drive, make sure our parking brake is disengaged, and we're gonna head down this way. One of the first things I notice about this car is it's a little bit more of a direct engagement. This is actually one of Mazda's first steps away from the traditional 6-speed transmission that we use in all of our vehicles. And I think they really hit the nail on the head with the performance you're getting out of this car. One of the things that Mazda is really known for is their drive. So you can feel that right off of the back. Very sporty, doesn't feel like it sloshes around corners. It's very, very composed, very planted. Most people tell me that they feel really confident behind the wheel of a CX50. And right now, on the left side of your dash, you actually have a little gauge that's going to show you what you're regaining from regenerative braking and how much power you're actually using from your electric motor. So if I give it a little bit of gas there, you'll see that gauge jumps up. And then when I'm braking, you'll notice that it dips down because it's actually charging up the system a little bit more. This car does actually have a cool system on it that's called electronic brake force distribution. And what that's going to do is, in the event of an emergency braking situation, or the harder you press the brakes, it's actually going to put more energy towards the rear calipers and help the car squat down. So instead of feeling all that weight pitch forward onto the front wheels, you're going to feel the whole car kind of suck down to the ground, which the idea behind that is to maintain traction on all 4 tires, reduce stopping times, and give you maximum control in an emergency braking situation. A lot of the stuff on this car is really easy to use too. So for example, voice command, if you want to change a radio station, hit your little voice command button. You can change radio stations, you can make calls, enter navigation points, all through voice command. The idea behind that is you are not looking away from the road to make these adjustments. Mazda's whole ideology is centered behind the driver and making sure that oh my gosh, that guy was almost on the road, and making sure that you have a very engaging, a very safe, and a very comfortable experience. Now let's make a right up here. I like the volume on the turn signals on the CX50. It's a kind of more of a hollow click, and that's actually adjustable too. So if you don't like hearing your turn signal, you can adjust that. There's a lot of little things that Mazda really thought through with these cars. One of the other things I noticed too, between this car and the RAV4, is the headline is a little bit lower in the 50. So if you are used to driving a car or something that sits a little bit lower, you're going to feel right at home in the 50, even though you have the same ground clearance. So it doesn't feel like you're sitting in this just giant cavernous SUV. It fits you a little bit more like a glove. Well, thank you guys for coming along on a test drive with us today for the CX50 versus the 2025 RAV4. If you have any further questions, you need more information, or if you'd like to set up a test drive, give us a call over here at Denton Mazda. Our main number is 940-489-7100. We'd love to have you out. Thanks again.